This is why I respect the Sumud flotilla so much. Like, they are straight up putting their bodies on the line. Like, they're saying, it. We want to show their depravity to the rest of the world by putting ourselves on the line of fire. Trump on Netanyahu says he has no choice. Exclusive. President Trump told me on Saturday that we are close to a peace deal in Gaza and said he'll push to finalize it in the next few days. I said, Bibi, this is your chance for victory, Trump told me. Trump told me about his call with Netanyahu on Friday evening. He was fine with it. He's got to be fine with it. He has no choice. With me, you got to be fine. Yeah, we'll see. Trump told me, Bibi took it very far in Gaza and Israel lost a lot of support in the world. Now I am going to get that support back. You're not. Anyway, let's start with Greta Thunberg, who apparently was beaten, forced to kiss the Israeli flag after the flotilla interception, activists claim.
Siyasetçisi hepsi bize böyle böcek muamelesi yapmaya.
This guy's Turkish, by the way. He says all of those politicians, all of them tried to treat us like insects.
Muamelesi yapmaya kalktılar ama herkese böyle davranıyorlar.
And they treat everyone like this.
Çok ağır işkence yaptılar.
But they tortured Greta the most.
Evet, Greta'ya zulmettiler. Küçücük çocuk da Greta. Onu süründürdüler, İsrail bayrağını öptürdüler. Yani Naziler ne yaptıysa aynısını yaptılar.
He says they made her crawl on the floor and kiss the Israeli flag. That's what this activist is claiming. Yeah, but this is Ersin Çelik. He's a pro-Erdogan weirdo. We have to wait for more details. Yeah, I don't know who the is. I don't know his personal politics. Do I think Israel's capable of such tremendous cruelty? Absolutely. Okay, especially to a person that they have designed as like a high-profile villain for Israeli society. Itamar Ben-Gvir was there. He was calling them terrorists to their faces. So I could see it. But once again, not exactly. This isn't like full-blown evidence yet. So we'll have to see what kind of media reports come out of this. Israel accused of detaining Greta Thunberg in an infested cell and making her hold flags. Activists tell Swedish officials she has been subject. Okay, so these are other activists who were also there saying similar things. So that there's some corroborating evidence here, corroborating eyewitness testimony. That would be an optics nightmare, though. They have to know not to do that. Dog, you know what's an optics nightmare? Doing a genocide. What are you talking about? You know what's an optics nightmare? Consistently apprehending and intercepting humanitarian aid flotillas comprised of European politicians and activists from 46 nations. Israel does not give a f. If there's anything that you can be assured of, Israel will do anything and everything that's insane. Bro, they blew up the boat. They tried to drone strike the boat off the coast of Tunisia. What are we talking about? The two flotillas prior to this one, they intercepted it and blew it up off the coast of Malta, thousands of miles away from the Israeli shoreline, on international waters, and not even on international waters, off the coast of Malta. It's simple. This is why accountability matters, okay? If you let Israel do whatever the wants without ever saying, hey man, maybe you should stop, or force him to dial it back, of course they're going to up the ante. This is why I'm saying, if left unchecked, Israel will eventually start murking people in Europe, okay? And then maybe even America. Who knows? This is what I mean. I know. I'm just going off propaganda video with Greta specifically where they had her on a jet to counter the claim that she was kidnapped. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the exact details. I'm just saying that, like, this is not... If you asked me if Israel would do something like this 2 years ago, I would have said maybe it's not... maybe that's a bit far-fetched. What are you drinking? Water. Le Nouveau. Bourgeois water? Is it? I don't know. Mineral naturel de montagne. The environmental campaigner Greta Thunberg has told Swedish officials she's being subjected to harsh treatment in Israeli custody after her detention and removal from flotilla carrying aid to Gaza, according to correspondence seen by The Guardian. According to correspondence, Israeli forces also reported by another detainee to have taken photographs while Thunberg was allegedly forced to hold flags. The identity of the flags are unknown. In an email sent by the Swedish Foreign Ministry to people close to Thunberg and seen by The Guardian, an official who was visited the activist in prison says she claimed she was detained in a cell infested with bed bugs with too little food and water. Okay, but if an official visited the activist in prison and she didn't tell him that they made her kiss the Israeli flag, I don't know. They made her hold the ISIS flag? I could totally see that. The embassy has been able to meet with Greta, reads the email. She informed of dehydration. She has received insufficient amounts of both water and food. She also stated that she developed rashes which suspect were caused by bed bugs. She spoke of harsh treatment and she said she had been sitting for long periods on hard surfaces. Another detainee reportedly told another embassy that they had seen her being forced to hold flags while pictures were being taken. She wondered whether images of her had been distributed. The allegation was corroborated by at least 2 other members of the flotilla who had been detained by Israeli forces and released on Saturday. They dragged little Greta Thunberg by her hair before our eyes. This is Addison Chilik, a participant on the Samud flotilla. Lorenzo D'Agostino, a journalist and another flotilla participant, said after returning to Istanbul that Thunberg was wrapped in the Israeli flag and paraded like a trophy, a scene described with disbelief and anger by those who witnessed it. Thunberg is among 437 activists, parliamentarians, and lawyers who are part of the Global Summit Flotilla, a coalition of more than 40 vessels carrying humanitarian aid whose goal was to breach Israel's 16-year maritime blockade of Gaza. Between Thursday and Friday, Israeli forces intercepted all the boats and arrested every crew member on board. Most of them are being held at Ketziot, also known as Ansar 3, a high-security prison in the Negev desert, used primarily to detain Palestinian security prisoners, many of whom Israel accused of involvement in militant or terrorist activities. In the past, activists detained by Israel were not criminally prosecuted, and instead their presence was treated as an immigration matter. According to lawyers from the NGO Adala, the rights of the crew members have been systematically violated, reporting that activists were denied water, sanitation, medication, and immediate access to legal representatives in a clear breach of their fundamental rights to due process, impartial trial, and legal representation. This is why I respect the Samud flotilla so much. Like, they are straight up putting their bodies on the line. Like, they're saying, like, you know, we, like, no matter what Israel does, like, we want to show their depravity to the rest of the world by putting ourselves on the line of fire in the direct crosshairs. Yeah, Hasanabi head Quentin Quarantino is also captured with Greta as well. American citizen, by the way, who is Jewish, a member of this community for many years. I've talked about it before. He came up to me at the ICE rally, if you remember, and he said, Quentin Quarantino, not Quentin Tarantino. Okay, calm down. Quentin Quarantino. He has an Instagram account. He has like a meme profile on Instagram. Not the director Quentin Tarantino. He's in Israel too, the director, but he's pro-Israel. He lives in Israel. So Quentin Quarantino initially, and he talked about this, I think, on the stream as well, if you remember. He came up to me at the ICE protest. He was like, "Hey man, I'm Jewish, and initially I was one of those people who thought you were like, I was a fan of yours for years, and after October 7th, I thought you were, like, you know, being far too harsh on Israel. I thought that you were being anti-Semitic, and I learned over the course of the past couple of years that that's not the case at all. Like, I changed my mind on this. So it's important to be kind to people, okay? It's very important. We must remain steadfast in our advocacy, no matter what people say. Oh, not Quentin Tarantino catching strays? He deserves to catch something else, okay? What do you mean Quentin Tarantino catching strays? I used to love Quentin Tarantino, okay? He is a major Zionist. Okay, but wouldn't optics matter more now that the tides are turning against Israel? I don't think Israel cares or understands that the tide is turning, or even if they do understand the tides are turning, they think they can just, like, buy TikTok and get out of it. They're wrong. As we covered yesterday, Donald Trump came out after Hamas accepted the peace proposal that, or at least, like, the conditions on the peace proposal that they had conceded to prior, and came out and accepted it. At least, like I said, the parts that they had conceded to in the peace proposal prior. And Donald Trump liked it. To my shock, to my surprise, Donald Trump liked that they were accepting of it. Okay. And as I tweeted, Donald Trump revealed this statement after. He said, based on the Hamas statement just issued by Hamas, I believe they are ready for a lasting peace. Israel must immediately stop bombing of Gaza so that we can get the hostages out safely and quickly. Right now, it's far too dangerous to do that. We are already in discussions on details to be worked out. This is not about Gaza alone. This is about long-sought peace in the Middle East. Israel, of course, did not stop bombing Gaza. Then Donald Trump went and said, I appreciate that Israel has temporarily stopped the bombing in order to give the hostage release a day later, 18 hours later. What reason do we have to think this isn't just the same thing as a Qatar strike? Trump's response so far, and I don't know. I don't trust Donald Trump. Until this is done, I will not be trusting Donald Trump. Okay? But having said that, this is where we're at.